What's up you guys and welcome back. I'm FPL Nymphrya and this is my FPL Game Week 24 review and double Game Week 25 initial thoughts preview video. So let's take a look. Despite Fabianski being in this team, I did actually start Button as planned last week. However, Brighton decided to place the returning Ryan straight in their goal, regardless of his relentless schedule playing in the Asian Cup. And as a result, Button was automatically subbed out for Fabianski, whom despite conceding 3 goals to Wolves, still got 3 points. It's worth noting here that Fabianski did pick up an injury during this match, and it's hard to say how much of an effect this had, or whether I will have a goalkeeper problem in Game Week 25. Well, my defence threw up a few surprises. Despite having an 82.1% accurate pass rate, making 3 crosses and a shot off target, Robertson only managed to get 2 points from the Leicester match, and those 2 points were directly null and void by Digne. I said in my last video that Digne is an all or nothing player, 0 to 0. Well, let's take that down another peg and make him 0 to -2. A few owners breathed a sigh of relief when he didn't start. Good, we thought. Rested for the double, we thought. Imagine the heartbreak then as he came on, only to be sent off again. I mean, what the actual bat shizzle is that? Now we've gone from a rested Digne double to a -2, and now a single game week player against Man City. If you could see my face right now, it's thoroughly unimpressed. So let's move on quickly. Doherty started after reports that he might miss out, and he got a very welcome clean sheet. So once again, I have one decent return from a defender and the rest are rubbish. At least it's consistent if nothing else. Moving into midfield, United had their first real test since Ollie took over, when Burnley went 2 goals ahead. However, Pogba's penalty started the comeback and as a result he bagged me 7 points. He was all over the stats with 3 shots on target, a shot blocked and 2 key passes. I'm a little anxious to see him flagged, but it may make my transfers a little simpler this game week. A bit more on that later. I was between Fraser, Holebas and Wan-Bissaka in my last video, but I decided to go with the attacking option, as I often do. So Fraser got the nod and as a result got me 3 points. Ideally I'd have played Holebas instead of Digne, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. Surprisingly, Richarlison returned a goal for the first time since Game Week 19, repaying us owners that kept the faith. However, if I didn't own, I'm not sure I'd be too concerned not having him for the double game week, if you know what I'm saying. I decided to captain Mo this week, and despite having 2 shots blocked, it wasn't his best match. I'm not too upset. There are others I feel would have been better to captain, but I didn't feel I could take the risk this week, given I have had too many red arrows of late. Talking of better captaincy options, let's move on to my strike force. Aubameyang smashed it out of the park this game week. He had 30 accurate passes, 3 key passes, resulting in a goal and an assist. He was my highest scoring player this game week and so would have been a better captaincy option. Yes, he was against Cardiff, but given the recent circumstances, you just don't know how that would have affected either team. I just didn't feel right going anywhere near that match for captaincy. My thoughts and prayers go with the family and the friends of those affected. I decided not to take the -4 I talked about in my last video to immediately rectify my decision not to get Jimenez and Sané for Aguero and Fraser, instead deciding to roll when I heard of the double game week in 25. I figured I'd need 2 transfers for that. Aguero did score twice, though one was not allowed, so I would have gained by making the switch, but with a Sané blank, it's not as much once you figure in the -4. Lastly, Rashford had his first blank after 4 straight game weeks of returns and added just 2 points to my total, meaning I got a total of 54 points this week, less than last week, but 12 above the average, meaning a green arrow, and I've moved up to 174,581 in the overall rankings. I'm pretty happy with that. So our first double game week is finally upon us. I'll be honest with you here, given the fact that I have 2 players flagged as injured and a suspended Digne, I'm gonna have to hold tight on any potential transfers until I can gather as much information as possible. But if you'll bear with me, I'll do my best to talk you through my options. You guys can then tell me your thoughts on them in the comments below, and maybe, just maybe, it'll help somebody out. So here they are. Option 1 is to do nothing. If Fabianski and Pogba are okay, then this team actually doesn't look too bad on paper. Granted, Fabianski is against Liverpool and it's not ideal, but if there was no double and he was fine, I'd likely have rolled with him, or I'd use my free transfer to move him or Digne on. Option 1 is my least preferred option though, as I've gone from 3 double game week players to 2 with no Digne now, and my preference would be to try and get another attacking City player in, which moves me on nicely to option 2. Option 2 is a riskier method, as it involves the whole Aubameyang Aguero hokey cokey, though not in the conventional sense, as I own both already. My Aubameyang Aguero hokey cokey would instead consist of me selling Aubameyang for a 0.2 loss when he faces Man City, and I'd be selling him to Jimenez against Everton, and Fraser to Sané who has a double. This leaves 1.4 in the bank to switch Aubameyang back in 26 when he faces Huddersfield. This option also allows me to get Son for Pogba if he is indeed ruled out, but would cost me -4. With my switch back to Aubameyang for 26, I would be left with Digne, Rich and Sané to blank in game week 27, and so I would have at least 2 blank game week players on my bench in 27 unless I took another hit. This would need to be navigated nearer the time. Whilst this is my preferred option at the moment, I am nervous it doesn't leave me with much wiggle room for unforeseen circumstances, like Sané missing out to Mendy for instance, or an injury cropping up. Lastly, option 3 is if Fabianski and Pogba are confirmed ruled out. It's a -4 and it involves moving Fabianski, Pogba and Digne on for Ryan, or a goalkeeper of a similar price, Sané and a 4.5 or less defender who doesn't blank in 27 and has a decent fixture, so Newcastle, Bournemouth or Southampton most likely. This option means I will only have to shift Aguero and Richarlison ahead of the blank, as if Sané retains his spot, I would just bench him for the blank game week. Option 2 and option 3, whilst prices may impact on the purchases I am considering making there by waiting until Friday, I do have a bit of wiggle room, though I will definitely be losing profit on players such as Aubameyang and Pogba unless somehow they tumbled and the players I'm thinking of buying went up by quite a lot. So there's definitely plenty to think about here. And that's it, you guys. I'll let you know what I've decided via my usual social media channels, and you can catch how I got on in my next video. As always, feel free to check out my sponsors fantasyfootballfix.com, and please support me by liking and subscribing. Until next time, Nymphria out.